My story takes place over several years. When I was younger, I had scoliosis, a curvature of my spine, which was partly from a leg length discrepancy. So I had non-surgical treatment, wore a built-up shoe, which you can imagine how much I loved that as a teenager. Eventually, I was told that my spine was stable and I could just go back to wearing normal shoes, and that's what I did. So fast forward to my adult years, I ignored the signs that my body was saying something was wrong with my back. I had increased pain. I frequently could not manage my left leg, but I still continued to pretend it wasn't happening. One year in Bloomsday, the last 2 miles, I had to drag my leg because I couldn't lift it, but I still ignored it. You know, the power of pretending. In 1990, my body finally said, "This is it. You have got to pay attention to what's going on." That led me to finding an answer. And as anybody that's had back pain knows, that you don't always get treated with the most respect from the medical community when you say you have back pain. I eventually left my primary care provider for that same reason, because he was so disrespectful of me and my problem. I finally connected with a physician who looked and listened and told me that at age 35, my spine was that of an 85-year-old. This led me to Cleveland, Ohio, to have surgery with a specialist who had developed a specialized pedicle plating system that was felt to be the best solution for my problem. I had a 10-hour surgery, which involved fusing and plating of several levels. They took out the curve in my spine, shortened my leg, and said, "You'll never know anything happened." Well, there were 2 problems from that. This plating system was not FDA approved. He had had several lawsuits that he had lost at the time of my surgery, and should have told me that this was investigational and I should have signed off on an experimental treatment, which I did not. I was sent home with a life-threatening infection in my spine, which led to more surgeries, hospitalizations, 6 months of an open wound, requiring packing multiple times a day. If I had not already known what love was, Alan showed me that in every minute of every day. My antibiotics were given around the clock. So it meant one would finish and another would start. And so at midnight, he would get me started on my IV meds. I couldn't sleep in our bed because I was so infectious, so I slept on a platform. And then he'd set his alarm for 2 in the morning and come down and start my new ones with me. He never let me wing it. He just always did it. So that went on for 6 weeks like that until I could back off a bit on the meds. Then my medical bills exceeded my home health care coverage, so he became my nurse, packing my back for me. And he's never had a very strong stomach about things like that, so it was a challenge, but we got through it. My life became that of a chronic pain patient, trying to find a way to survive and deal with pain in a way that allowed me to still function at my job, parenting, and life. I was medicated in a way that attempted to manage my pain, yet be alert enough to work. I was not dealing very well with that and had an incident when driving home that was my wake-up call. I had a thought that if I turned my steering wheel and put my car into a bridge, I would no longer have to deal with the pain. So to me, that was God saying, stop and pay attention to this and get some help. I saw a pain specialist then, got on a better treatment for my pain, and went to pain management classes. I also had an amazing turning point when Thora and Weaver Hess were our ministers at that time, and they performed an intense healing ceremony with me. And I remember it being the first time in several years that I was able to release the tight hold I maintained over my body. Then one Sunday, when I kept telling myself I could not get up and come to church, I didn't have it in me, and this voice kept saying, "You do and you will." And the lesson that day was about being in the dark hole of despair and climbing out with the toe and footholds. So I truly was meant to be here and hear that message. I began using a very structured meditation where I focused on each part of my body, relaxing it. At the end of each meditation, I would always say, let go and let God. I still use this meditation when I'm having times of increased pain, and I try to never say, why me, because the answer has to be, why not you? I recently left my job, retiring earlier than my goal had been. This has allowed me to have the time that I need to balance the changes in my life and the challenges. The work with the Q process was instrumental in allowing me to forgive the surgeon who contributed to my journey of pain. What I have discovered about myself through all of this is that I am strong. I have the tools needed to deal with this life challenge. I know that many of you have more challenging health issues that you struggle with every day. I am blessed to have the life that I have.